Alright, someone please tell these brands we don't need any more lip products. Seriously, just when you think you have found the one, another 5 new lip products drop. I don't know about you, but I find it hard to resist a good lip product, and it is so easy to get tempted. But do we really need 100 different tubes? Are any of them truly special? If you're new here, hi, my name is Salima, and today I'm cutting through all the hype to give you my honest take on the 15 newest high end and luxury lip balms, lip glosses, and all those fancy lip oils that the market is throwing at us these days. We are going to find out if they're actually worth the buzz or just another pretty package. So let's get into it. Alright, let's kick things off with the Dior Lip Glow Butter. This retails for $42 and I have it in the shade 105 Lychee. Be honest with me, guys, and tell me, if I remove Dior's name right off this tube, would you really pay $42 for it? My gut says absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with the packaging itself, it's functional. But for this price point, it feels incredibly cheap and plasticky. It just doesn't deliver that substantial, high end feel that I expect from Dior. And let's not even get started on that flimsy little charm. When I'm shelling out $42, I expect luxury that goes beyond that flimsy little add on. They did not even bother doing anything unique with the applicator, something like Laneige. Anyways, let's talk about the good stuff. I genuinely love the shade Lychee. It's a gorgeous, vibrant rosy pink with a touch of red. It looks fresh and perfect for spring and summer. Now, onto the consistency, because this is where my expectations totally diverge from the marketing. Dior calls this a lip butter, and honestly, my mind immediately jumps to that richer, more comforting, almost balm like texture, something nourishing like the Edam lip balms or even the Laneige lip sleeping mask. But this has more of a lip gloss consistency. It's not thin or runny, it's got a nice body and a cushiony feel that makes it stay put beautifully on the lips. It doesn't feel like it's sliding around everywhere, which is great. I get about 2 to 3 hours of wear, which is pretty standard and understandable for this type of product. I also notice a subtle, sweet, minty fragrance, which is common in Dior lip products, but it fades almost instantly after application. So, here's my overall take. I actually don't hate this formula. It's hydrating, it makes my lips look incredibly juicy and shiny, and as I said, I really love the color. But for $42, this performs just like a really nice regular lip gloss. There's nothing about its performance or feel that justifies that high end price tag for me. Let me know, guys, if I am being too harsh here, or do you agree with my take on the packaging and the consistency? Moving on, I have another lip butter. This is the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. This is not a new product, but they added a new shade called Pink Guava. My most used and most repurchased shade is brown sugar, which is a soft, warm, rosy brown that pairs with almost any makeup look. This new shade, Pink Guava, is a soft coral pink. It has a lot of peachiness in it compared to the Dior Lychee. Dior's Lychee is more vibrant shade. It's a true fuchsia with distinct red undertones. But beyond the shades, let's talk about formula. I prefer the formula of Summer Fridays over Dior's. It has more body and richness to its texture, which makes it feel incredibly comforting and nourishing. It feels like it's actually hugging my lips and forming a protective barrier on my lips. While it still gives a beautiful, juicy shine, it's that deep conditioning and soothing feel that sets it apart for me. The Dior is lovely for a glossy tint and a touch of hydration, but the Summer Fridays deliver on that comforting lip butter promise in a way that Dior just doesn't. Also, the fragrance on Summer Fridays is much more subtle and faint compared to Dior. So, yeah, for a true balm experience that feels like it's actually treating your lips, Summer Fridays is the clear winner in my book. Next up, I have the Glow Recipe Gloss Balm Lip Treatment in the shade Blackberry Bingso. This retails for $22 and it comes in 4 shades. I absolutely love the scent of this formula. It smells like a juicy berry candy. It's almost nostalgic for me. But that's the only thing I like about this lip balm. When it comes to how it feels and applies on the lips, I'm simply not a fan. This balm has a noticeably thin texture, especially for something marketed as a gloss balm. If you've tried the Tower 28 lip softies, it's incredibly similar to that. And honestly, I don't like that one either for the same reasons. The biggest problem with such a thin texture is that these type of balms tend to move around way too much on the lips. They can get messy, easily spread outside my lip lines, and when I'm talking, eating, or even taking a sip of water, I can almost taste these balms migrating into my mouth. That is just gross. I absolutely do not want that experience from my lip product. Beyond that messiness, because it's such a thin texture, it simply doesn't stay on the lips for very long. And as it fades, it actually left my lips feeling like they're craving more moisture and hydration, almost drier than before. That's the opposite of what I want from a lip treatment. So, for all these reasons, this is a definite skip for me. I simply cannot recommend this one. Next, I have these Laneige tinted lip serums. These initially came out a few months ago, and then Laneige expanded the shade range in March. So now they have 8 shades in total and retails for $22. They have this donut style silicone applicator, which is unique and functional. In terms of pigment, these are quite impressive, especially the darker shade like cinnamon sugar. They're noticeably more pigmented than the Summer Fridays, Ole Henriksen, or even the Dior lip butters we have discussed today. I also enjoy the texture of this product. It's essentially a lip balm, but with a thinner, more fluid texture compared to the heavier Ole Henriksen, Summer Fridays, or Edam lip balms. In fact, if you've tried the Rose peptide lip treatment, I find the consistency to be quite similar to that. I think these Laneige lip serums are ideal for someone who wants all the nourishment and moisture of a traditional lip balm, but you simply don't like the feeling of a thick, heavy, or overly occlusive lip balm. If you prefer a thinner, less substantial formula that is equally hydrating on the lips, these are for you. They are also perfect if you are someone who loves to layer your lip products, whether it's with a lipstick, lip tint, or a lip liner. A lip serum like this makes layering much easier without adding any bulk or stickiness. Honestly, I love these lip serums and I highly recommend them. Next, I have this Topicals lip balm. They added a new shade Acai a few months ago and then another new shade Papaya just a few weeks back. I have got the shade Acai here and it retails for $16. This is undeniably the thickest lip balm on my list today. It feels less like a balm and more like a true intensive lip mask, if you ask me. This is exactly the type of product I reach for when my lips are severely chapped, peeling, or just crying out for help. You immediately get that intense, long lasting moisture and undeniable relief on your lips. It feels incredibly soothing and deeply nourishing. And because it's so substantial, it's also the longest lasting lip balm I've tested today. This stuff stays comfortably on the lips for hours and hours, forming that protective barrier. However, this is not a lip balm I like to use during the daytime. This kind of super rich, thick formula is far better suited for my nighttime routine. Because it's so intensely rich and thick, it does feel quite sticky on the lips. And for me, when I'm talking, eating, or drinking throughout the day, it unfortunately tends to leave that gross white residue on my lips, especially along the inner rim. It just doesn't look polished or clean, and that's not the look I want for daytime wear. So, if your lips are truly struggling and you need a lip treatment, I would highly recommend trying the non tinted version during your nighttime routine to avoid that white residue issue. This is truly a powerhouse lip treatment if your lips are in distress. Now, before we move on to some lip balms with added SPF, I just wanted to quickly share that LYS Beauty also came out with their glossy lip balms, and I find them pretty comparable to my beloved Hourglass Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balms. I've already shared all my thoughts along with detailed swatches and comparisons between those two in a separate video. So if you're curious about how they stack up, I will make sure to link that for you guys right here in case you're interested. Alright, shifting gears, let's talk about some lip balms that offer that crucial sun protection. First up, I have the Iris&Romeo Moisture Lip Balm Broad Spectrum SPF 30. I have to rave about the packaging on this one. It's impressive. This comes in such a heavy duty glass component that immediately feels luxurious and substantial in your hand. It screams high end product, which is opposite to some of the flimsy tube we have seen today. Now, onto the formula itself. This Iris&Romeo balm to me feels like a hybrid of a nourishing lip balm and a high shine lip gloss. It has a thick consistency that feels comforting and moisturizing on the lips. It really coats my lip, creating a lovely protective layer that stays put throughout the day. I actually took this with me during my summer vacation to Mexico, and let me tell you, when you're out in the sun, you want reliable SPF. I was incredibly impressed because I didn't feel the need to constantly reapply it, which is an absolute game changer for an SPF lip product. Beyond the SPF, I was also really impressed by the pigment on this. This is moderately pigmented, so it's definitely not a sheer gloss by any means. You get a noticeable wash of color along with that glossiness and shine you would expect from a dedicated lip gloss. Also, it doesn't have that strong, unpleasant SPF scent or taste. It's practically undetectable. Overall, I'm so happy with this purchase and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a luxurious, effective SPF lip product that performs beautifully. Now let's talk about the other SPF lip product I've been trying, the Caliray Lipguard Broad Spectrum SPF 31. I have to tell you right away, these are completely opposite to the Iris&Romeo lip balms in almost every single sense. First, regarding pigment, these aren't as opaque as the Iris&Romeo, which normally would be perfectly fine for me. I love a good sheer gloss. However, the major problem here is that both colors I have tried have such a strong white base that they look incredibly ashy on my lips. It's truly surprising how different these colors appear in person versus what you see online. I picked up Zuma, which is described as a soft pink, and Big Sur, which is described as a rosewood mauve. And both shades have such a significant, noticeable amount of white pigment. You might think this is due to the zinc oxide used as a sunscreen filter. And yes, that's a common culprit. But here's the thing, the Iris&Romeo balm also uses zinc oxide, and in an even higher percentage, yet it doesn't look ashy on me at all. This tells me it's likely a formulation issue unique to Caliray. So, if you are close to my skin tone or deeper, I would strongly advise you to skip these balms entirely. If you have a lighter complexion than mine, I would still highly recommend you swatch these in store before purchasing because that white base might surprise you. Moving on to the texture, these are not as thick as the Iris&Romeo lip balms. They have a much more lip gloss like consistency, which is fine. But the deal breaker for me is that strong SPF taste. These get into my mouth so easily, and honestly, I simply could not get over that taste. It's really prominent. While the smell itself isn't bad, it actually has a pleasant fruity scent. But the taste is a completely different story and far too strong for me. Therefore, for all these reasons, I absolutely cannot recommend the Caliray Lipguard lip balms. Next up, I have two lip products from Prada. First, the Prada Hydrating Lip Balm. This retails for a hefty $50 and it's available in 5 shades. The packaging alone feels like an experience. It has that same heavy duty, sleek component as their lipsticks. It's refillable, you get a satisfying magnetic closure. This screams luxury, and I love holding this in my hand. Now let's dive into the formula because this is where it gets really interesting. It has that smooth, effortless glide that you would expect from a high end lipstick, like the Hermes Silky Shine Lipstick, or the Givenchy Serum Shine Lipsticks, or the Westman Atelier. It's silky, smooth, and it applies in a thin layer. However, what truly surprised me is this thin layer somehow deposits a really good level of pigment on my lips, along with a high dose of moisture. My lips feels hydrated, and here's the best part. It stays put for hours. It adheres beautifully without feeling heavy or sticky. So, in short, you are getting that long wearing color of a pigmented lipstick, but with the comfortable, nourishing sensation of a lightweight lip balm. I find this innovative because you get that lasting color without any of the dryness or thickness of a traditional lipsticks. For me, this product is absolutely worth the $50, and I'm already hoping to get my hands on some other colors in this line. I'm not interested in their clear balm version, it's the pigmented ones that truly shine here. And because I enjoyed that hydrating lip balm formula so much, I decided to also try the Prada Glowing Lip Oil Stick. This also retails for $50 and comes in 4 shades. The packaging on this is similar to their lip balms, which is great, except this one has a cute pink middle band, which I think adds a nice touch. Now, this is marketed as a glowing lip oil stick, so it is noticeably more glowy and sheer compared to the lip balm. It's definitely not as pigmented. In terms of the formula itself, you can immediately tell how it's not a balm, but a true lip oil. As soon as it touches my lips, it literally melts right in, and I can feel an instant burst of hydration. However, it never truly sinks into my lips. It doesn't seem to fully absorb or set down. It just stays wet on the lips, and honestly, I just don't like that feeling. So while it delivers on hydration, but that persistent wet sensation means it never truly settles into that comfortable, long wearing hydration I prefer. On top of that, it also comes off rather quickly compared to their hydrating lip balms. Therefore, for my personal preference, I would much rather buy their Prada hydrating lip balm than these lip oil sticks. And before we dive into even more bougie luxury lip balms, if you're enjoying this video so far, please take a quick second to give it a big thumbs up. And if you love straight to the point reviews, comparisons, swatches, and all that good stuff, then definitely subscribe to my channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video from me. So next, I have this Guerlain Kiss Bee Glow Tinted Lip Balm. This is not a new product launch, but this is a new product to my collection. So I thought to share it with you guys. I really like the Guerlain lip oils, so I thought to try their lip balms. These come in 12 shades and retail for $40. I love this packaging. I think this square bullet resembles the honeycomb pattern, and here is a subtle bee motif etched on the top. I think it is beautiful. For a lip balm, it has a creamy texture that simply melts onto the lips. It feels incredibly moisturizing and comforting from the first swipe. And while it does contain beeswax, I was pleasantly surprised that it's not sticky at all, nor does it have that overly waxy, almost draggy feel that you sometimes see in a chapstick or a lip balm in a stick format. Instead, it maintains a smooth, refined consistency. It also provides a sheer wash of color. It's not so sheer that it looks like a clear balm, but it's also not as pigmented as the Prada lip balms or the YSL Love Shines or the Sarah Creal lip balms that we will talk about later on. In fact, I've noticed that the pigmentation is much more subtle in person than what's shown in online swatches. That's why I'm already eyeing the shade Poppy Glow for my next purchase. Overall, I really enjoy this lip balm formula. It leaves my lips feeling soft, hydrated, and looking polished with that beautiful hint of color. Alright, prepare yourselves because next up we have the Hermes Rose Lip Enhancer. This one comes in 3 shades and retails for a staggering $81. Yes, you heard that right. $81 for a lip balm. A moment of silence for my wallet, please. Okay, as you would expect from Hermes, The packaging on this is exquisite. It's a heavy duty, truly luxurious component that feels incredible in your hand. It even comes with its little dust bag, just like all the Hermes iconic products. The closure is satisfyingly magnetic, and the component is also refillable. So theoretically, you can just buy the refills and save a little money down the line. In terms of presentation, it's everything you would hope from Hermes. Now, regarding the product itself, there's only one thing I like about this lip balm, and that is its color. I have it in the shade 49 Rose Tan, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but this is exactly my natural lip shade. I have never had a lip product match my actual lip color as flawlessly as this one does. And because it has an almost matte finish on the lips, it literally looks like my lips, just more even toned and healthy. It's truly a my lips but better in terms of shade. However, for an $81 lip product, this is, without a doubt, the least moisturizing and least hydrating lip balm on today's entire list. I can definitely feel that I have something on my lips, but whatever it is, it strangely makes my lips crave more moisture. It's almost like it's just sitting on my lips doing absolutely nothing. Forget spending $81. Honestly, I wouldn't even spend $20 on a formula that performs like this. It simply doesn't deliver on that most basic promise of a lip balm or a lip enhancer, whatever marketing term they are using. Because I love this shade so much, I haven't returned it. I have found a workaround by pairing it with a clear gloss on top to get that much needed moisture without changing the color. But this is not a lip product I would recommend buying, especially not at its exorbitant price point. The stunning shade just doesn't compensate for its utter lack of hydration. Moving on, I have these Sarah Creal Solid Serum Lip Balms. These were launched sometimes last year, but Sarah Krill expanded the shade range a few months ago. And I've got two shades here to show you: Thriving and Energetic. Now, if you're a longtime subscriber or a regular viewer of my channel, you already know just how much I adore these lip balms. Although, I believe Sarah Krill needs to add more colors. Let's talk about the packaging because it's part of that luxury experience, right? I find this to be simple and chic. And of course, it comes with that satisfying magnetic closure which elevates the whole experience. Now let's dive into the texture and the formula. I think it lives up to its name. It's a serum in a solid form. You get this even layer of moisture and color that just glides on without pulling or dragging whatsoever. In fact, it melts right on contact with my lips. It's not thick or goopy like some balms can be, but it stays put within my lip lines. It doesn't migrate, it doesn't feather, which is awesome. The pigment level on these is sheer, so I personally love to pair them with a lip liner for added definition. I love that the hydration lasts for hours, even if the sheer color gently fades. It softens the look of my lip lines and leaves my lips feeling soft, plump, and deeply nourished. So while these are expensive at $42, in my honest opinion, these are worth every penny. Since I love these Sarah Krill lip balms, I also purchased her new lip gloss. This is the Sarah Krill Peptide Lip Gloss, which comes in 6 shades: 4 with high shine finish and 2 with shimmer finish, and it retails for $40. I picked up the shade called My Pleasure, which has that beautiful shimmer finish. I've seen peptides pop up in a lot of lip balms lately, but this is actually the first time I've seen them incorporated in a lip gloss, if that's something that matters to you guys. It certainly makes it feel more like a lip treatment. Anyways, let's talk about the packaging. This comes in a heavy duty glass component, and the cap has this gorgeous golden metal overshell. It feels and looks incredibly luxurious, even more so than the Dior or the Gucci or the Westman Atelier lip glosses I've tried. However, I was a little surprised by the applicator. It's quite flimsy. By that I mean it's noticeably soft and moves around quite a lot when you are trying to apply the product. On the positive side, it does manage to pick up the right amount of product, so I don't have to constantly redip to coat my lips. But the application can get a little messy if you're not careful. In terms of the texture, This gloss has a wonderful, non sticky medium weight. So it's not super thick and goopy, but it's not too thin or watery either. It just hits that perfect sweet spot. When it comes to the finish, it delivers a really nice, healthy shine. It's certainly glossy, but it's not that super high beam, almost mirror like glossiness you sometimes see. It's more like a natural, polished luster. I'm so happy that the shimmer in this is so subtle and smooth. There is no grittiness on the lips whatsoever. I think these glosses are meant to add polish to the lips without feeling heavy or making a huge statement. And that is a huge selling point for me. On a day-to-day basis, I enjoy products that effortlessly elevates my natural look. They need to look effortless and also have to be truly effortless to use. For all these reasons and for that touch of luxury, for me, the Creal Peptide Lip Gloss is worth the money. All right, now let's talk about some of the newest lip oils on the market. First up, we have the Glossier Cooling Sheer Lip Oil. This one retails for $22 and comes in 6 shades. I picked it up in the shade Creamy, which is described as a warm rose. The applicator on this is quite unique for a lip oil. While many of my all-time favorite lip oils like the Guerlain, Dior, or Clarins have that shorter, thicker, almost chubby doe foot, the Glossier lip oil comes with an elongated, more slender style. This longer design can actually provide a bit more precision for defining your lip lines, especially if you have smaller lips like mine. Now, when it comes to the texture of the lip oil, we have seen so many variations of lip oils on the market, right? My all time favorite lip oil is the one from Guerlain, but I also enjoy Dior and Clarins lip oils. And those lip oils have a gel oil kind of consistency. They have a noticeable body and viscosity, and they create a plush, almost bouncy barrier on the lips. The Glossier lip oil, however, is on the thinner end of the spectrum. It has an almost watery oil kind of consistency. It's much more fluid and doesn't have much grip to it, so it spreads very easily on the lips. While it's undeniably hydrating and non sticky, it unfortunately lacks that dense, plush body that I personally prefer and expect in my lip oils. It has similar pigmentation to the Dior, Guerlain, and Clarins, and it provides a beautiful wet look shine to the lips, and I really enjoy that. On me, it lasts about 2 to 3 hours before I feel the need to touch up. So yeah, the Glossier lip oil is ideal for someone who prefers a thinner, more lightweight lip oil with decent pigment and a lovely wet look shine. But for my personal preference, it just lacks that plushness and cushiony body that I truly look for and adore in my lip oils. Another relatively new lip oil launch is this one from YSL. It is the YSL Love Shine Plumping Lip Oil Gloss. It retails for $40 and comes in 9 shades. 5 shades with a high shine finish and 4 with a shimmer finish. I actually did a full review of this on my channel when it first launched. But I have to tell you, my favorite part about this lip oil gloss, the real star of the show for me, is this specific shade 44 Nude Lavalier. It's this absolutely stunning mauvish pink, and it just looks so incredibly beautiful on my complexion. I am obsessed with this shade in their liquid blush as well as this lip oil. Compared to the Glossier lip oil, this one has a slightly thicker, more glossy lip oil consistency. However, it has a prominent tingling sensation that actually lasts for a good 4 to 5 minutes. Even though I am not sensitive to it, but I find it kind of useless. It doesn't seem to do anything except for creating this mildly uncomfortable feeling on my lips. Plus, it has this distinct, almost peppery scent when you first apply it, which is not my favorite. So, even though I really love this shade and the texture of this YSL lip oil, I really wouldn't recommend it if you're sensitive to fragrance or if you dislike that tingling sensation. Just something to keep in mind. You are much better off trying the Guerlain lip oil, which, in my opinion, is one of the best lip oils on the market. Alright, Last but not least for today's video, I have the Violet FR Lip Nectar Hydrating Lip Stains. These come in 4 shades and retail for $29. I have to say, these are the first lip products from Violet FR that I have really enjoyed. I haven't been a fan of their sheer matte lipsticks or their sheer shine lipsticks. Let's talk about the formula. These apply like a thin but beautifully creamy stain. They immediately give a glossy, dewy finish, very similar to a lot of popular Korean lip tints, and they feel wonderfully hydrating on the lips. On me, that initial glossy finish lasts for about 1 to 2 hours depending on whether I am eating or drinking, but generally, the glossiness is the first thing to wear off. However, what truly impresses me is the stain it leaves behind. The color payoff is beautiful. It's not a faint, barely there stain, it stains and covers my lips pretty well. I love that the stain is not patchy at all. It looks even on the lips, which is a huge plus for a stain. And that stain lasts for a solid 4 to 5 hours on my lips, which I think is pretty decent for a lip product like this. The shades can look a little too dark and intimidating in the tube, but I promise you, these are not bold colors at all once applied. They transform into these beautiful wearable tints, and I really like them. Now, if you're wondering how these compare to some other popular lip stains on the market, I've got a few swatches for you guys. First up, let's compare them to the Coffee Lassie lip stains. I actually really enjoy the coffee tints, and I find it to be quite comparable to the Violet FR in terms of overall performance. That includes the color payoff, the staining power, and that initial glossy finish on the lips. However, the only subtle difference I can find is that Violet FR stains tend to be a little more creamy than the coffee. They have a touch more emollients and moisture to them. But honestly, if you are a fan of coffee lassie lip stains, I think you will really enjoy these Violet FR stains as well. Next, I will also quickly compare it to the Rare Beauty lip oils. In my experience, the Rare Beauty lip oils have the strongest, longest lasting staining quality out of almost any lip product I own. And that's because the stain from the Rare Beauty lip oils tends to get 1 or 2 shades darker than the originally applied color as it wears. So by the end of the day, I still have a lot of vibrant color left on my lips. And impressively, my lips don't feel dry or patchy. And lastly, I will also compare it to one of my favorite dewy, glossy Korean lip tints. I am so sorry, you guys. It seems like my arm is getting shorter or my swatches are getting longer. Either way, I don't have a lot of space left to swatch these perfectly, so you will have to bear with these slightly messy swatches. In my experience, the Clio lip tints have a similar consistency to the Violet FR, offering that lovely, thin, creamy feel. But the absolute best thing about these Clio lip tints is that their glossiness lasts a lot longer than any of the other lip tints or stains. It easily stays glossy for 3 to 4 hours on me, even with some eating and drinking, which is truly incredible. Not to mention, they stain the lips beautifully and evenly and are super comfortable to wear. So if you have easy access to Korean beauty products, I would highly recommend you give the Clio lip tints a go. And that wraps up today's video. I really hope you found this video helpful. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you tried any of these lip balms we have discussed today? Or are you eyeing any new ones? And what are your thoughts on so many brands constantly launching new lip balms? Does it excite you? Or are you starting to feel a little bit bored by them? Let's get the conversation going. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye for now.